Metrics for a recruiting process. It's a really interesting topic. To me, there are two kinds of metrics. There are volume metrics and there are ratio metrics. And one is how many of the thing do we do, and then the ratio is what is the success of the thing. And I find most recruiting processes operate on a volume metric, which to me is a big mistake. I optimize for ratios. The tighter the ratio, the better a job we're doing. I'm more interested in how many interviews do we set up for every person that gets hired than I am in how many interviews do we set up, or so on. So think of it like a kind of an inverted pyramid, like a funnel. We have a certain amount of activity that needs to happen on the front end that converts into hires on the back end. So, simplistically, we'll have, how many people are we targeting in our outreach as prospective candidates? How many of those candidates are going to engage with us? How many of those are going to be interested in the job? How many of those are going to pass our screening and so on? First interview, second interview, offer, hire. So we want to tighten those ratios at every point. And what I found with the way that we operate is it's a ballpark figure, but around 150 people is what we want on the top of that pyramid for every opening. Depending on the type of search, the follow-on metrics will be different. We'll find that for non-technical hires, usually about 40 to 50% of the people will engage with our outreach in some way. For engineering hires, it's normally more like 20%. But then the interesting thing is they kind of work out the same way in the end, because the engineers that are interested will usually have a more sort of certain interest than the non-technical people. They're very analytical people, so if they're going to do something, they take it seriously. Biz dev marketing people, for example, that they're connectors. They talk to people all day, so they explore more things. But ultimately, we want to get these ratios as tight as possible. So we want to increase the conversion rate from people that we contact to people that are interested. We want to tighten everything up at every step. So by the time we're coming to the end of the search, we're not saying, hey, here's a bunch of resumes, let's see what happens. It's, here are the 2 or the 3 people that you really need to talk to. They're all interested. They're all going to accept the position if it's offered. A lot of it is actually about disqualifying earlier in the process. And a lot of people go wrong when they think they're doing headhunting, because they think sending some messages to people that weren't applying for a job is headhunting. But you'll get a lot of tire kickers. You'll get people that say, yeah, I'm interested in this. They're never going to accept the job. And so they'll get frustrated because, we did all this work and then everyone turned the job down. It's not because you didn't do something right at the end. It's because you missed something earlier. So actually, we start with this big pool of people, and then we put an all-out effort into getting their interest and getting them on the phone and building that. But then once they're interested, we disqualify. And so what we're left with are the people who are really great at what they do, really interested in the job, have valid reasons for moving, and so it's a high odds situation when we put them into the process. That's what we want to do.